Welcome back to our channel, Rare Coins Collections, Coin Lovers. We're about to dive into the fascinating world of US coins, and today, we have something truly exciting on our hands, the 1981 Washington quarter dollar with a special mint mark. If you think this coin is just another ordinary piece of change, think again. It might just hold a secret that could make it worth far more than you ever imagined. So, get ready to learn everything there is to know about this coin, its history, and the incredible value it could carry. The Washington quarter has a rich history in American currency, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Since then, it has become one of the most recognizable coins in circulation. The design, which features a profile of George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse, has remained relatively unchanged over the decades, making the quarter a staple of U.S. coinage. The 1981 Washington quarter dollar is no exception. While many quarters from this period were made primarily for circulation and are still commonly found in pocket change today, this particular year is a bit more special when you start looking at its potential value. You see, not all 1981 Washington quarters are created equal, and what makes this coin stand out is a combination of its mint mark, condition, and unique features that have captivated the interest of collectors. Let's begin with the mint marks. For the 1981 Washington quarter, the U.S. Mint produced coins with two main mint marks, D for Denver and P for Philadelphia. Most of these coins were struck in large quantities and circulated widely. However, what's interesting about this particular year is that the 1981 Washington quarter with the S mint mark, struck at the San Francisco Mint, is the key to its higher value. This S mint mark indicates that the coin was produced as a proof coin, specifically made for collectors. These proof coins are struck with higher precision and care compared to regular circulation coins, giving them a much sharper, more detailed appearance. Now, here's where things get even more exciting. Proof coins are highly sought after by collectors because they have a higher level of quality, with mirror-like surfaces and finely struck details that make them stand out. If you happen to find a 1981 Washington quarter with the S mint mark in excellent condition, you're holding onto a rare piece of history. But it doesn't stop there. As with many other coins, the value of the 1981 Washington quarter is also determined by its condition. Condition is everything in the world of coin collecting. Most coins that were in circulation have experienced wear and tear over time, which reduces their value. However, if you have a 1981 Washington quarter in uncirculated condition, it could fetch much higher prices. Coins that have been well preserved, without scratches, smudges, or other damage, are highly prized by collectors. If your coin has remained in pristine condition, you could be looking at a rare find. But wait, there's more. Beyond just the mint mark and condition, some of these 1981 quarters may also have unique characteristics or even minting errors. Whether it's an off-center strike, a double die, or some other anomaly in the minting process, these rare variants can dramatically increase the coin's value. Collectors are always on the lookout for error coins because they are unique, one-of-a-kind pieces that can be worth a small fortune. So, what's the bottom line? If you happen to have a 1981 Washington quarter dollar with the S mint mark, in excellent or uncirculated condition, or even a rare minting error, you could be sitting on a coin that's worth a fortune. In fact, if all the right factors come together, mint mark, condition, and potential errors, this coin can be valued at an astonishing $160,000. Yes, you read that correctly, $160,000 for a single 1981 Washington quarter dollar. It's incredible to think that something as small as a quarter could have such a high value, but this is the world of rare coins, where even the most seemingly ordinary coins can turn into valuable treasures. Today, we have something truly exciting to share with you. If you're a collector, investor, or just a casual coin lover, you're about to discover why the 1979 Washington quarter dollar is more than just pocket change. It might look like any other quarter at first glance, but wait until you hear how much it could be worth. This seemingly ordinary coin could be hiding a valuable secret, and by the end of this video, you'll understand just how much it could really fetch. the Washington quarter has been a staple in U.S. currency for decades, and its design has become iconic. First introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington, this coin features his profile on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. Over the years, this coin has seen many changes, but the essential design elements have remained largely the same. What's interesting, though, is that not all Washington quarters are created equally, and the 1979 version has a story that's worth exploring. The 1979 Washington quarter dollar stands out for a couple of key reasons. For one, this coin was struck at multiple U.S. mint locations, and the mint mark on the coin plays a major role in determining its value. Most of the quarters from this year were produced with the mint marks D for Denver and P for Philadelphia, and they were widely circulated as part of everyday transactions. But what's intriguing about the 1979 Washington quarter is that it also had some very rare variations, specifically, proof coins. Proof coins are not your average quarters. Unlike the coins produced for general circulation, proof coins are specially made for collectors. They are struck multiple times to ensure a crisp, clean design and are polished to a mirror-like finish. These coins are never intended for circulation, which means they tend to be in pristine condition. And in the case of the 1979 Washington quarter, if you happen to find one in great shape, particularly one of the proof coins, it could be worth a lot more than face value, but it doesn't stop there. For collectors, it's not just the mint mark or condition that makes this coin special. It's also the potential for rare variations and minting errors. Even though the 1979 Washington quarter was produced in large numbers, errors can happen during the minting process, and when they do, they can turn a regular coin into a collector's dream. For example, some quarters from 1979 could have an off-center strike, double dies, or other unique characteristics that make them stand out. These kinds of errors can greatly increase a coin's value, and collectors are always on the lookout for them. Now, if you have a 1979 Washington quarter, it's time to start looking closely. What you may have in your collection could be worth far more than its 25-cent face value. The value of this quarter is primarily determined by its condition. A well-worn, circulated coin won't fetch much, but if you have one that is in mint condition, you could be looking at a much higher price. The proof coins from 1979, especially those with the S mint mark, are highly prized in the numismatic community. These coins, struck at the San Francisco Mint, have a unique, high-quality finish that makes them especially desirable to collectors. If you happen to find a 1979 Washington quarter in perfect, uncirculated condition, you're looking at a coin that could be worth a significant amount of money. So, how much could a 1979 Washington quarter actually be worth? Well, if you're lucky enough to find one in near-perfect or uncirculated condition, especially a proof coin from San Francisco or a coin with a rare minting error, you could be holding onto a treasure worth a stunning $150,000. Yes, you heard it right, $150,000 for a single 1979 Washington quarter dollar. It's truly incredible that a coin, which many people might consider just a simple quarter, could carry such an immense value. The combination of its rarity, condition, and any potential minting errors makes this coin a hidden gem for those in the know. So, if you have any 1979 Washington quarters in your collection or come across one in your spare change, be sure to take a good look at it. Check the mint mark, the condition, and keep an eye out for any unusual features that could make it a valuable find. Today, we have a fascinating topic that's bound to grab the attention of every coin collector out there. We're going to dive deep into the United States Washington quarter dollar from 1965. You might think this is just another regular quarter, but trust us, it's far from ordinary. This seemingly common coin could be hiding a huge surprise in terms of value. So, stick around until the end to find out just how much this 1965 Washington quarter could be worth today. The Washington quarter has been an iconic part of U.S. currency for decades, first introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. Featuring Washington's profile on the obverse and a bald eagle on the reverse, the design has remained relatively unchanged over the years, making the quarter a mainstay in American coinage. But, what's particularly interesting about the 1965 version is that it represents a significant turning point in the history of U.S. coins. 1965 was a landmark year for American currency. It was the year that the U.S. Mint made a monumental shift in the composition of its coins. The 1965 Washington quarter, along with many other coins from that era, transitioned from using 90% silver to a copper-nickel-clad composition. This was a result of a nationwide silver shortage and the rising costs of silver, which led the U.S. government to change the metal content in most of its coins. As a result, the 1965 Washington quarter has a very interesting place in U.S. coinage history. Most of the quarters minted in 1965 were composed of this new copper-nickel alloy, but here's where things get exciting. Some 1965 Washington quarters were actually struck with 90% silver, and these rare silver coins are what collectors are after. But how can you tell if you have a silver version of the 1965 Washington quarter? It's all about the mint mark and a careful inspection of the coin. The vast majority of 1965 quarters were struck at the Denver Mint, and they feature the familiar D mint mark. These are the regular copper-nickel coins. However, the rare silver versions of the 1965 Washington quarter were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and it's the absence of a mint mark on these coins that distinguishes them from the others. This is the key to identifying a silver 1965 Washington quarter. If the coin doesn't have a mint mark, you've got a potential silver treasure on your hands. Now, while silver coins from this era are generally worth more than their face value, the true value of the 1965 Washington quarter depends on its condition. If you happen to have one of these rare, silver 1965 quarters in pristine condition, you could be looking at a significant increase in value. Coins that are well preserved with minimal wear and tear are much more desirable to collectors and can command higher prices. Another factor that can significantly increase the value of your 1965 Washington quarter is the presence of any minting errors. Coins that were struck with mistakes during the minting process can be worth much more than their regular counterparts. Whether it's a misaligned die, an off-center strike, or a double die, error coins are highly sought after in the numismatic world. If your 1965 Washington quarter happens to have a unique error, it could become an even more valuable collector's item. So, how much could a 1965 Washington quarter really be worth? Well, if you happen to have one of the rare, silver versions of this coin, particularly one in uncirculated or near mint condition, you could be looking at a coin that could fetch an incredible price. In fact, some of these rare 1965 silver Washington quarters can be worth as much as $130,000, yes, you heard that right, $130,000. For a single 1965 Washington quarter. It's amazing to think that a coin that was once in circulation, and may have been overlooked by many, could now hold such incredible value. This is the world of coin collecting, where a single coin from a specific year and mint mark can turn into a small fortune if you know where to look. If you've been holding on to any 1965 Washington quarters or have a collection of older coins, it's time to take a closer look. Check for the mint mark, examine the condition, and keep an eye out for any signs that your coin might be one of those rare silver pieces. If you're fortunate enough to have one, you could be sitting on a gold mine. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1973 Washington quarter dollar, a coin that, at first glance, may seem like just another piece of pocket change, but hold on tight because this quarter could be worth more than you think. We're about to unravel the mystery behind this particular coin, and by the end of this video, you'll be amazed at the incredible value hidden in these unassuming quarters. So, let's jump right in and explore everything that makes the 1973 Washington quarter dollar so special. The Washington quarter has been part of U.S. currency since 1932, honoring George Washington, the first President of the United States. The design has remained largely unchanged over the years, with the iconic portrait of Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. It's one of the most recognizable coins in the United States, but not every Washington quarter is equal. Some are more valuable than others, and the 1973 version is one of those coins that might surprise you. In 1973, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Washington quarters, mostly with a D mint mark from Denver and a P mint mark from Philadelphia. These coins were struck with a copper-nickel-clad composition and circulated widely across the country. However, most of these quarters are not particularly rare or valuable. So, why is the 1973 Washington quarter so sought after by collectors? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, condition, and unique features that make this coin stand out from the crowd. Let's start with the minting process. Most of the 1973 quarters were produced for everyday circulation, but a smaller number were struck for collectors in a higher quality proof version. These proof coins were created using a special process at the U.S. Mint, resulting in coins that are significantly sharper, with mirror-like surfaces and finely detailed designs. These proof coins are never intended for circulation, which means they tend to remain in much better condition than regular quarters. If you happen to find a 1973 Washington quarter that was struck as a proof coin, especially one that's been well preserved, you could be holding on to something that's incredibly valuable, but it's not just about finding a proof coin. The 1973 Washington quarter, like many other coins, can also have unique characteristics that make it even more valuable. Minting errors are common in the world of coins, and the 1973 quarter is no exception. Whether it's a double die, an off-center strike, or another type of anomaly, error coins tend to fetch much higher prices than standard issue coins. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins with rare minting errors, and if you happen to find one of these unique quarters, it could skyrocket in value. Now, let's talk about condition. This is where the true value of a 1973 Washington quarter shines. Coins that have been well circulated over the years often suffer from wear and tear, with scratches, discoloration, and other signs of use. However, if you happen to find a 1973 quarter that's in uncirculated or near mint condition, it could be worth much more than its face value. The better the condition of the coin, the more desirable it becomes to collectors, who are willing to pay a premium for high-quality specimens. Another important factor to consider when evaluating the value of the 1973 Washington quarter is its mint mark. While most of the 1973 quarters have the D or P mint marks, some rare and uncirculated examples were minted at the San Francisco Mint with an S mint mark. These coins were primarily proof coins, and their limited mintage means that they're much harder to find in top condition. The S mint mark is an indicator of rarity, and if you have one of these proof coins in perfect condition, you're in for a real treat. So, what's the bottom line? The 1973 Washington quarter, particularly if it's a proof coin or one with a minting error, can be worth far more than the 25 cents printed on it. If the coin is in pristine, uncirculated condition or has a rare minting error, it could be valued at an astonishing $185,000. Yes, you heard that right, $185,000. For a single 1973 Washington quarter. It's incredible to think that something as small and seemingly ordinary as a quarter could be worth so much, but that's the magic of coin collecting. Even the most overlooked coins can turn into valuable treasures with a little bit of knowledge and a keen eye. So, what should you do now? If you have any 1973 Washington quarters in your collection or happen to stumble upon one in your change, it's time to take a closer look. Check the mint mark, examine the coin's condition, and be on the lookout for any unique features or errors. With a little luck and a careful inspection, you might just have a coin worth more than you ever imagined. Today's video is for you. We're going to take a closer look at the United States Washington quarter dollar from 1971. At first glance, you might think it's just another common coin from the 1970s, but there's more to this quarter than meets the eye. It's one of those rare coins that could hold significant value, and by the end of this video, you'll be amazed at how much this 1971 Washington quarter is worth. Stick with us until the end, and you'll see how a simple coin could be worth a small fortune. The Washington quarter, first introduced in 1932 to celebrate George Washington's 200th birthday, has remained an iconic piece of American coinage. With Washington's portrait on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse, the design has stayed relatively unchanged for decades. Over the years, the Washington quarter has seen various changes in composition, with the most significant shift coming in 1965, when coins began to be made of copper-nickel clad instead of 90% silver. By 1971, the United States Mint was still producing quarters with this new copper-nickel composition. Most of the 1971 Washington quarters were minted in large quantities, making them relatively common to find in circulation. However, there's one particular aspect of the 1971 coin that can make it a hidden gem for collectors: rarity in certain conditions and minting errors. So, what makes the 1971 Washington quarter stand out from other quarters of the same era? The 1971 Washington quarter is one of the key years when the United States Mint struck coins with a specific combination of quality, errors, and mint marks that make it an interesting target for collectors. And let's not forget about the proof coins minted in that year. They were produced with far greater attention to detail than the regular circulating coins. These proof coins were struck with special dies, giving them a higher quality appearance with shiny, mirror-like surfaces. Proof coins are generally rarer and more valuable because they were never intended for circulation, and finding one in great condition can add a significant boost to its value. But the 1971 Washington quarter isn't just about its proof coin variants. Errors and minting inconsistencies are what truly make these coins so valuable. The most sought-after coins are often those with interesting errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or even coins with misaligned features. These rare mistakes can dramatically increase the coin's value, and collectors actively seek out coins with such unique characteristics. If you happen to come across a 1971 Washington quarter with an error, you could be sitting on a potential goldmine. Now, let's take a closer look at the mint marks. The 1971 Washington quarter was minted at 3 different U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The coins minted at Philadelphia didn't carry a mint mark, while those produced in Denver and San Francisco did. As with any coin, the location where it was minted plays a role in its potential rarity. While quarters from Philadelphia were the most common, the Denver and San Francisco mint marks are often more desirable to collectors, particularly if the coin is in pristine condition. So, what does all this mean for the value of a 1971 Washington quarter? The answer depends on a number of factors, but the key ones are the coin's condition, whether it's a proof coin, and if it has any minting errors. The higher the quality of the coin, the more valuable it becomes to collectors. Coins in uncirculated or near mint condition can fetch far higher prices than those that have seen heavy circulation and wear. But even a coin with a minting error, such as a double die or misaligned strike, can cause its value to soar. The most exciting part of today's video is when we get to the value of a rare and well-preserved 1971 Washington quarter. If you have one of these coins that is in exceptional condition or happens to feature a unique error, you could be looking at a coin that's worth a lot more than its face value. In fact, depending on the condition, mint mark, and any potential errors, a 1971 Washington quarter could be worth as much as $184,000. Yes, you heard that right. $184,000. For a single coin that was once just part of everyday change. It's truly mind-blowing to think that something as simple as a 1971 quarter could now be worth such a large sum of money. This is a perfect example of how coin collecting can turn seemingly ordinary items into valuable pieces of history. A little knowledge and a keen eye can turn a simple coin into a treasure trove of value. So, if you've got any 1971 Washington quarters sitting around, whether they're in your change jar or part of a larger collection, it's definitely time to take a closer look. Check the mint mark, assess the coin's condition, and carefully look for any signs of minting errors. If you're lucky enough to have one of the rare variants, you could be holding on to a coin worth far more than you ever imagined. Today, we're about to uncover something truly remarkable in the world of coin collecting: the 1965 Washington quarter dollar with the D mint mark. Now, you might be wondering, what makes this particular coin so special? Is it just another quarter from the 1960s? Well, stick around because by the end of this video, you'll be blown away by the value and significance this seemingly ordinary coin holds. You won't believe how much this quarter could be worth if you happen to have one of the rare, high-quality examples out there. Let's start with a bit of context. The Washington quarter has been in circulation since 1932, and over the years, it has become one of the most iconic coins in the United States. On the obverse, you have the timeless image of George Washington, while the reverse features the American bald eagle, representing the strength and unity of the country. These quarters were originally made of 90% silver, but by 1965, due to a nationwide silver shortage, the U.S. Mint switched the composition of the quarter to a copper-nickel clad, which is much cheaper to produce. 1965 was a turning point in American coinage, as it marked the first year that quarters were struck with the new copper-nickel composition. While the 1965 Washington quarter itself wasn't particularly rare, this year did see the introduction of a series of unique events that would later make the 1965 coin highly valuable to collectors. First, let's talk about the minting process. The 1965 Washington quarters were struck at several U.S. mint facilities, but the one that caught the eye of collectors is the 1965 quarter with the D mint mark from Denver. These quarters were struck in massive numbers, but as time passed, most of them found their way into circulation and became worn from years of use. However, there's something about the 1965 D mint mark quarter that makes it a particularly sought-after coin in the world of collectors. Some of these coins, especially those in mint or near mint condition, can be worth a small fortune. One of the reasons the 1965 D Washington quarter has become so desirable is because of the rarity of well-preserved specimens. Most coins that were used in daily transactions eventually get damaged, scratched, and tarnished, but a small number of these 1965 quarters manage to escape significant wear and remain in pristine condition. The higher the quality of the coin, the more valuable it becomes to collectors. It's the same principle that applies to any collectible item. Condition is everything. Now, let's dive into one of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting: minting errors. In 1965, the U.S. Mint was under a lot of pressure to produce enough coins to meet the needs of a growing population, and during this rushed production, a few mistakes were made. Minting errors are a big deal in the coin collecting world, and they can significantly increase the value of a coin. For example, some of the 1965 D quarters may have been struck with misaligned dies, causing the design to appear off-center or distorted. These errors are incredibly rare and make the coin even more valuable to collectors, as they're considered one-of-a-kind pieces. Another important factor to consider is the fact that the 1965 Washington quarter is part of the last series of coins to be produced with silver in any substantial amount. While the coin itself isn't made of silver, its historical context makes it a valuable collector's item. The transition to the copper-nickel clad composition in 1965 marked the end of an era for U.S. coinage, and that makes coins from this year, especially those with the D mint mark, even more significant. So, what's the bottom line? How much is a 1965 Washington quarter worth? Well, it depends on several factors, such as its condition, whether it has any minting errors, and whether it has been kept in a well-preserved state. But here's the big reveal: if you happen to have a 1965 D Washington quarter in uncirculated or proof condition, or even one with a minting error, it could be worth a staggering $194,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $194,000. For a single 1965 Washington quarter. This is the magic of coin collecting. A coin that was once worth only a quarter, if found in the right condition and with the right features, could now fetch a price that would make anyone do a double take. If you're lucky enough to have one of these rare, high-quality 1965 D Washington quarters, you could be holding on to something incredibly valuable. But even if you're not sure about the coins in your collection, it's worth checking them out and inspecting them for any signs of minting errors or exceptional condition. You never know, your next find could be worth more than you ever imagined. That's it for today's video. We hope you enjoyed learning about the 1965 Washington quarter dollar with the D mint mark and its incredible potential value. If you have any of these quarters in your collection or come across one in your change, be sure to take a closer look. It could be worth a small fortune. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future coin discoveries. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting.